Hello, everybody, and welcome to the HollyHood Zoomcast, episode number 5. And now we are here with Aji Goodman, the first.
DJ Goodman.
Greg Goodman, aka Good.
Jason Ryan.
Antoine Smallwood.
All right, yo. So today, we were talking about movies that age poorly, top 5 movies that age poorly. And if you've been watching the live, you already saw how how this can go a variety of different ways. Because people ask me actually, like, what do you mean exactly when you say age poorly? And a lot of people shot back with stuff that was shocking to me. Someone had said anything with Kevin Spacey in it. I was like, this is not exactly the direction that I was gonna go.
Out of that, like, I'm not gonna hold Kaiser Soze responsible for Kevin Spacey's horseshit. I'm not gonna hold him. I can't be mad at Kaiser Soze, and I'm not mad at Dr. Heathcliff Huxtable. You know what I'm saying? But I'm upset with Bill Cosby. I'm not gonna hold a character beholden to the activities of the actor that played them.
I get it. I'm just telling you, like there's a lot of people who came out, like, the first thing, as soon as I said that joint, that was the first comment. The second comment was Soul Man. I was like, Jesus, what is going on? And the reason why Soul Man is not even honorably mentioned by me personally is because I always thought that was a whack movie, person. Always did. Ray Dong Chong and everything. Y'all remember Ray Dong Chong?
Of course.
Fly with the curls, man.
Ray Dong Chong was one of my crushes back in the day.
She was fly, man, but she
still got Beach Street love for me.
Is that where you get? I fell in love with her off of Commando.
Commando, yep.
Oh, man, Commando was dope.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Commando, the original Taken.
Oh. Yeah, that's
There's no argument to be made there.
Good.
That don't seem right.
Taken with a worse accent.
yeah, that's terrible. They both were kind of foreigners. That's terrible.
These third world voices with these American names.
Revenge of the Nerds was mentioned.
As it should have been.
Yeah, I believe Teen Wolf was also mentioned. More to come.
As it should have been.
More to come on that, I'm sure. But I personally, so my personal list, although there is some of that in there as far as the social justice, cancel culture type of vibe going on in some of my picks, most of my picks were based off of things when I was a kid. I was like, that's a great movie. And then when I grew up older and I was like, this has a lot of plot holes. This is really, really bad. That main character was named that. I thought his name was this. What is this guy doing? Is that an alien? Is there an alien in this movie? When did an alien come to LA? Is this LA? Wait a minute, what? So it was just a lot of that. It was a lot of that for me. I don't know. How was you guys' criteria and other people's honorable mentions to you when you brought this up?
I didn't bring it up to anyone, but my criteria was kind of all over the place, from movies that I might have thought were cool when I was a kid to movies that I just think, because of things that have happened publicly, didn't age well, and also movies that I just hated also from the beginning of time that I'm glad the rest of the world now knows suck. So that kind of was my criteria right there.
My general criteria was a movie that I liked back when it was out, and when I tried to watch it recently, it just fell flat. Now, there are various reasons for that, but that was the only way I could make it make sense and not have this list be like 30 movies. It just had to be stuff where, like, if I tried to watch it today, I would either be cringing, I would be bored, I would think the movie was trash. Just anything that, just because, like, I can't watch it at this point based on several factors.
Yeah, my was pretty much the same. I used to like it, and then I hadn't seen it for a couple of years. Then I watched it as an adult, like a grown man, and I was just like, yuck. This is just yuck. Patooey. That's that was my criteria.
He said patooey.
Get right out. Yeah, mine was y'all's, man. But I did have, I gave myself some boundaries. Like, I didn't include any horror movies because, you know, horror movies are kind of the same all throughout, right? I mean, most of them, with the exception of the graphics. You know, Greg has said before about not having graphics be part of it. So, yeah, I did that same thing. So for my lists themselves, my actual top 5 are embarrassingly movies that I did kind of like at the time. But the honorable mentions, the 5 I got there, maybe I got a little bit of entertainment out of them, but they weren't, I wouldn't say that I liked them, but they had to be put on the list because they just aged bad.
And at this point, I'd like to say if Antoine does not have the Highlander on his list,
no. We're not gonna do.
We should hold a board to see if we can get him off the cast. Because this is, after all the points that I had to make about the depths of shittiness of this movie, I just don't.
There will be no Highlander slander ever.
Ooh.
Fair enough. You know what? I'm gonna leave it alone. I'm gonna stop hating. Obviously, people love this movie.
No, the one with Van Peebles is terrible though. He had no business in that shit. But
That doesn't make it any less entertaining. I mean, the movie was made, so we can't erase that. Just enjoy it.
Yo, we should get Keanu Reeves to remake Highlander. So Greg said, "Can
Hey, what? Let's get Keanu on the phone here. What's good?
Hey, look. Okay, real talk. I'm not gonna lie. If Keanu Reeves remade Highlander, it would probably be watchable. Like I said, I'm not saying Keanu Reeves is whack. I'm saying that Keanu Reeves has got the best agent in Hollywood.
Moving on. Now we're gonna go
every week. It always comes back to Keanu.
Look, we all love Keanu. Him and Tom Hanks have got the best agents I've ever seen. The only difference is Tom Hanks is talented.
Who's straight? Why are you throwing strays at Tom Hanks?
Tom Hanks is dope. Everyone likes Tom Hanks.
Yo,
you can't put a person on this planet that don't rock with Tom Hanks.
Who doesn't rock with Keanu?
Exactly. It's Greg. That's Greg. Greg. You know what I'm saying? Greg. Yo, when he said that joint about Tom Hanks, I imagine that gif where RoboCop turned around and was like, grrr. He was like, grrr.
Random
no look shots. Yeah. All right, man. So we'll go into honorable mentions. Man, Antoine, you can go first, man. You go ahead and go first.
So, in my honorable mentions of movies that did not age well, we're gonna get this out the way first. This is the toughest list I've ever had to do, by the way. Greg, you're gonna be satisfied. Highlander is at the bottom of that list of honorable mentions because going back and rewatching, the movie itself is absolutely horrible, but it's a guilty pleasure. I enjoy it. Millions of people enjoy it. Christopher Lambert enjoyed it. So there you go.
That's
moving
fair.
on.
I concur with everything you said. You love it and it stinks. That I understand.
There's no more cultural relevance than that.
I get it. That's a thumbs up.
Another movie I have with an honorable mention is Flashdance with Jennifer Beals. Going back, looking at the movie, you know, I don't know why I thought it was so awesome when I was a kid. I think they sold everybody on the scene where she pulls the water after the long dance and everything, but the movie sucked. It was like one long music video that just was like, you know, leading to nowhere. So it had a build, but terrible. Teen Wolf, again. A lot of different things in there. Yeah, Teen Wolf. I saw it, Jason. Sorry. Sucks.
What's wrong with Teen Wolf?
You'll see.
Bad.
I'm gonna break that down thoroughly later.
I will let somebody else make the argument there.
More to come on Teen Wolf. I was leaving.
Another movie that I actually loved this one as a kid, but I don't know if I was smoking something back then. Super Mario Brothers with John Leguizamo. Absolutely horrible, just awful. Okay,
That movie was bad. Man. That movie was
bad for no reason. Very little to do with actual Mario Brothers stuff, which leads me to my other honorable mention, Street Fighter. I knew this movie sucked then, and I'm happy that people see it now that you never got to see most of the power moves that if you played Street Fighter growing up, you expected to see certain things in this movie you did not see. Also, the boss battle at the end, weak. I guess you get older, you find out Raul Julia was sick, but what you did not know is that Jean-Claude Van Damme had a lot of alcohol abuse issues, so they couldn't shoot certain shit. So he wasn't the action hero he was supposed to be. So movie was ruined there. Next, Ace Ventura Pet Detective with Jim Carrey. For obvious reasons there because of the transgender community. And of course, if you know that movie, you know the basis of them shaming the person, whole thing with that. I'll leave it there.
Out. Laces out.
And I threw an old timey joint in there on the two final ones on my honorable mentions. The Graduate with Dustin Hoffman. I only know that because of the play. Obviously, it would not go over well if it was an older man seducing a younger woman. We'll maybe get back to that later on the list. But in this case, an older lady professor kind of, seducing a much younger man. And also, my final one, and I put on a list more for fun, but How to Be a Player with Bill Bellamy. I still...
Wow.
I love the movie, but when you go back and watch the movie and then look at cultural significance today, you would not have men and women cheering on Bill Bellamy as he, does what he do. So that's the end of my honorable mention.
Hold on a second. Well, hold on a second.
Let's go.
In How to Be a Player, he got his in the end. He was wilding out, and he got what he deserved at the end of the movie.
I know she screams out Dre and everything.
Tale.
Okay, first off, I would still cheer on Bill Bellamy in that role because he was single and he was trying to get his. Fair enough. He wasn't married. Go, Bill, go. He didn't have no ring on her finger. Bill's out here getting weird, strange, and that's how you be a player, apparently. It was still a crap movie, but I enjoy the spirit of what Bill Bellamy was trying to do.
Indeed.
In the spirit of hate, I was mad that Bill Bellamy was getting women at all. So that's really what I was like, you sleeping with Reggie? I know I look better than this dude. You know what I mean? No, right. No, I'm looking better than this guy.
That was hilarious. Yeah, it was crazy. And the caliber of women just throwing themselves in it. I'm sorry, go ahead, Greg.
Hold on, what was the last two or three that you had on your list? Because I had a point about one of them.
Ace Ventura.
Ace Ventura, The Graduate, and How to Be a Player were the last three I named.
No, a little bit further up.
Ace Ventura, Teen Wolf, Flashdance, Mario Brothers, Street Fighter.
Oh, Mario Brothers. That's what it was. Yeah, first off, that movie stunk all around. I can't even believe it's on your list of things that you used to like. That is just remarkable.
I'm blaming you on that one as a gamer.
Yes.
No, that's fair.
Almost made me throw up on my damn shirt. But the thing that really was disturbing about the Mario Brothers is that they had a video game movie about two Italian plumbers and not one Italian in it. That right there was disturbing as hell to me. Even as a kid, I was like, what? They got a Puerto Rican and a British dude playing Italian plumbers? This doesn't even make sense.
Yeah, the British dude, that's right, yep.
The casting on this thing is horrible.
It was thoroughly confusing back then.
Yeah. I don't even remember if they saved the princess or not. I'm pretty sure I checked out immediately. Even as a kid, I was just like, boo, and left.
I just remember how bad the Koopas looked.
Yes, I was about to say that. Yeah.
I know nothing about any of that. I didn't make it far enough to even see any Koopas. Nothing. I didn't see no turtles. I saw no mushrooms. I didn't see nobody jump on nothing. I didn't see one person punch a brick and get $1. I saw none of that. I checked out immediately. And with Street Fighter, let's be honest, the soundtrack was fire. That's all I got to say about Street Fighter. The soundtrack was so dope.
Too bad the movie couldn't be the same.
I can't vouch for the movie, but that soundtrack was like that.
Was Mobb Deep on the soundtrack?
Nas was on.
There was Mobb Deep, Nas, Craig Mack, LL Cool J.
Shaq was Shaq rapping on there?
Who else is Shaq? I don't think Shaq was on that one. But he could have been, him and the Fushnikins. They could have, that should have been right up his alley.
Speaking of Mario Kart, let's go to PJ for his honorable mentions. Nobody? Okay.
Me?
Yeah.
I got it. Hey, before y'all jump on me, don't forget that I said the ones in my honorable mentions I didn't necessarily like growing up. All right. So, first one, Masters of the Universe. I don't know if y'all seen that one, Dolph Lundgren. Yeah, strongest name, most masculine name ever. The only thing that was strong was the odor from the script and the performance. Bad. I mean, yeah, I get, everybody got to eat things, so I shouldn't be throwing stones that hard, but good grief.
Yeah, I was going to put that on my list. I was going to put it on my list. I did like it. I really did enjoy that movie back in the day because I used to watch the cartoon show, but it was bad. It was really bad.
The reason that I hated it so much is because I watched the cartoon and then I saw the movie. So it was never on a list of, wow, this was awesome. They didn't even have Orko in the movie. Now you got a whole Masters of the Universe movie.
It's worse
and
now.
No Orko. It's horrible.
If this was a anticipated and not be able to see it in theaters top 5, that would be on my top.
Yeah, that's true. So that's one of my. I limited my my honorable mentions to 5. So that's one of them. No Retreat, No Surrender. I must admit, I got a lot of entertainment out of that, but man, it was bad. That was Jean-Claude was in there. He was the most entertaining character, but it was not good. Anyway, I did have Teen Wolf as well. And Greg said he's getting into that later, so I'm skipping that. I got Face Off in there. Just
good God,
can't do it. And then the last one is Look Who's Talking. 1, 2, it doesn't matter. Look Who's Talking, the franchise. It just no go.
Did you just? The
franchise. Yes, I did. Yes.
As a staff or record label.
Franchise, a movie, and as a script.
Yeah. Can't do it.
That was a horrible movie. Now when you go back and look at it, it's just, I mean, it was normal back in the day. Now it's just, I've had a couple of kids, and you know what? I don't care to hear them talk. So that makes it even worse.
It's a ridiculous premise. And I don't remember ever watching it again or ever wanting to after the first time. Like, never. Yeah. It was just like, oh, okay, yeah, the movie's over. All right, move on with my life and just forget about it forever.
Yeah.
I'm sorry for bringing it up, but I had to.
Yo, Jason, your honorable mentions, good sir.
I have one. Well, I have a movie franchise as an honorable mention.
Good Lord.
This whole list was kind of tough, but the rule that I made was I had to like all of the movies on my list because that's how it didn't age well for me. But the honorable mention is the entire Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle franchise, the OG one, because the puppet thing, the rubber mask that they, it just kind of it doesn't really hit anymore. Like, I enjoy it from nostalgic purposes, but it was just like, if I watch it now, I think I tried not too long ago. It just doesn't. It's not the same. The rubber faces just.
Yeah. The costumes. If you look at it now, like I've seen better costumes on 42nd Street in Manhattan for Ninja Turtles than I have in that movie.
That's my honorable mention. The original and the Secret of the Ooze, and then the one with Vanilla Ice in it. Yeah.
Ninja Rap.
The whole franchise.
You know what? I didn't even think about that. That's a good call. That's a good score, sir.
That's all your honorable mentions. It's just all of the teenagers.
He was like, I got beef with all of them.
The whole franchise. But I loved it back in the day. I loved it.
That might be the illest honorable mentions list I've ever heard in my entire life. Yo. It's like, yo, just the franchise. And I was expecting you to go on to something else. And you was like, that's my honorable.
and I'm not even including the new one for that was like within the last 10 years or so. I'm talking about that original, that original batch. I think it was 3 of them.
Yeah.
All of those have a similar place in my heart. They're not great movies, but they didn't make my list. But they weren't great movies. You know what I mean? But
yeah, they'll never make if we do a terrible movie list, they will never make it.
Right. That's correct.
You can see that like Splinter was all stiff and like the movement Splinter was like if y'all remember Gumby, remember the Gumby cartoon, the clay animation, like all stiff, like it just didn't hit. It didn't hit.
Yeah, it looked like they stole that Splinter from a Chuck E. Cheese robot to perform, and they just threw it in there and just put different words in its face.
Right.
And made it talk.
I will say the movie will never make one of my bad lists because of one part when April O'Neil went down in the sewer. He was like, I have something for you. She looked down. He was like, ah. I was like, oh my God. I forgot you did that. I was like, oh.
Yes, that is the original. What did the 5 fingers say to the
That's
face?
exactly.
It was hilarious. Still this day, it still makes me laugh.
I was caught off guard when I went back and saw it. I was like, oh, we stole off arm.
So you were just like,
Like, no. Okay, I will go next with my honorable mentions. So I had, like TJ, I had 5 honorable mentions. My first one was Red Sonja.
Oof.
fair enough.
You don't even need to go into it.
Yeah, that was Red Sonja, man. That was it's like Golden Axe, except that it was terrible. Yo, this is this came on TV the other day, The Mummy. So
which
You
one?
could have just said Brendan Fraser's career.
The Brendan Fraser one.
You could have just said Brendan Fraser's career.
That's
Like,
that's an insult, sir. I got on my list, but I'll allow it.
Word. Putting Bedazzled on there? That's
Bedazzled was
how
kind of funny. Bedazzled was kind of funny.
Encino Man. No love for Encino Man.
Absolutely not.
Oh, wow. Encino Man.
Nobody wants to see a movie with Pauly unsure. Nobody.
Mike, your
That's
tongue.
actually a good point because Pauly Shore, I'm sorry, but Pauly Shore's comedy was so 90s and it cannot exist anywhere else. Like Pauly Shore, this category is Pauly Shore. Like
Fair enough.
literally his comedy is like synonymous with the 90s. And
Yeah.
it has no relevance outside of like 98, 99, whenever
Like
it was
I said, yeah.
movie.
And it's not even all of the 90s.
Right, it's just his window. It's just that window.
Yeah. It's like from 97 to 97. That's about it.
Well, let me go ahead and give another.
It's irrelevant for that year. And that is,
Let me give
it's
another.
relevant for that year. That's it.
Let me do another honorable mention. Anyway, so yeah, The Mummy. That aged poorly. Although I like the Rachel. I think her name is Rachel Weisz. Weisz. Is it Weisz?
Yeah.
Rachel Weisz. I do like her in other movies. She was in Constantine. She's done a couple other movies. That I
Who's
really
the
like.
star of Constantine? Oh, I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry.
Constantine was dope.
All right. I'm sorry.
Constantine's a great movie.
Sorry.
Hey, Greg, you know what it was?
I know
Say his
exactly
name.
Don't
what.
derail the show.
Like I said,
Don't derail the show. Don't derail the show.
90% of that dude's movies are dope. Super dope.
Don't
I
tell me
get
what to
one of
do.
them. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead, finish up your list.
Okay, yo, don't tell me what to do. Look, okay. So the mask also made it.
Damn, I forgot about that. You're right.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what? I never liked that. I used to watch it in mute just to see Cameron Diaz.
I did. That was Pete Cameron Diaz, by the way. That was
Yeah.
Pete Cameron Diaz for sure.
That's when she was still eating grits.
And Jim Carrey is about this close to being on the no slander list for me, but I mean, you know, actually outside of the mask, he would be on the no slander list. But he's been mentioned with this and Ace Ventura. That's crazy. So who would have guessed? And Once Bitten wasn't even the one that was mentioned. Who would have thought? Let's see. Oh yeah, honorable mentions. Dumbo. The Negroes.
Yeah.
The Negroes.
Mm-hmm.
I done seen everything. You know.
The Jim Crows,
The Jim
I
Crow.
believe were their names.
Oh yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, the crows were hilarious to me.
God damn.
Once I really realized what was going on, it was like, dang. Like I felt bad. Like once I realized it, but I mean, there were some cool brothers.
Yo, Jason, you know what you just did? Jason, you know what you just did? You just doing bamboos. You was like, shit funny to me, son.
I mean, you gotta like, yeah. I mean, yeah.
The level
It
of
deserved it.
It does. I mean, it's so blatant, but
it is.
I thoroughly enjoyed those characters. They actually made the movie because I didn't like I was never a fan of those Disney movies with the singing and all that stuff. Never was. The Crows stood out to me. Like even back then, like I was drawn to like I really enjoyed the Crows. And then I became an adult and I watched it and I was like, oh my God, like like I
Wasn't
feel
hitting
bad.
at all.
Yeah, so my last one is one that and I told some people, so I have this habit of putting on worker movies, right? Worker movie is like a movie that you can just kind of have on in the background, so to speak. And it's usually a live action movie that isn't worth a damn, you know, a Vin Diesel film, something like that. You know? So one I put on because I was working on some stuff, and then it made this list because I used to think it was a pretty good movie. Cliffhanger.
I don't know.
Cliffhanger is Sylvester Stallone.
Stallone? Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Say no
I was
more.
like, wait.
Say no more, son. Oh no, yeah, yes. Sly Stone. Yeah. More to come from that dirtbag. But this was like he had his shirt off in the mountains and he was swimming underwater, and it was like 25 degrees during a blizzard. I was like, this is not. I was not prepared. I was not prepared for Cliffhanger. So
I will say this: Leon was dope in Cliffhanger, but
Yeah.
outside of that, you're 100% correct.
well, listen, Leon is on the no slander list for sure. So
Fair enough. I'll agree with that.
Just based on Above the Rim alone.
Facts.
all right, man. That's my honorable mentions. Greg, it's your turn.
Okay, you already covered Dumbo. I'm not gonna go through the Amos of Andy with wings. I'm not gonna go through that. You've already covered it. Twister.
Yeah.
Now, here's the thing. I never actually really liked it, but I didn't think it was bad. And then Audrey was like, it's trash. And I went against them. And then I watched it and I was like, oh my God, Audrey's right. This is horrendous. I don't know who decided to cast Bill Paxton as a smart person was just unbelievable to me to begin with. That was just, it was a horrible decision. God rest his dead. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, Twister, the whole thing, it was just dumb and unnecessary. It was just really stupid. I think the reason the whole movie was made was because someone had a new toy and was like, hey, we can make cows float. And then they were like, let's make a movie about it. And that was pretty much it. That was all. Because it was just horrendously whack. All right, number 2. Once again, this is a movie that I didn't like, but it wasn't annoying. I didn't feel any way about it. Dirty Dancing. The level of molester potential in this movie is just disturbing. For this grown-ass man that takes someone's teenage daughter out to do filthy dancing at nightclubs and then be upset with her father for telling her what to do, just is shockingly appalling. And I was just like, you better be having the time of your life, because sometime next week you're gonna be in court, because this dude is the absolute pits. And I can't believe they were like, bop, 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 we're gonna do it again, and made another one of those crappy ass. It was just disturbingly whack. Another one. Now y'all might look at me a little funny. This is where y'all might start to look at me funny. But I will say this. The only thing that Michael Jordan does worse than GMing is acting. Space Jams is just the acting in that movie. And it's not Mike's fault. You can't take an athlete and then have him talk to tennis balls and think it's gonna go well. It's just, if you go back and look at it, it is just a bad movie.
We don't care about Michael Jordan in that movie.
Well, okay, let me finish up now. And the reason I can say that is because we had seen the live action thing with humans before, and Who Framed Roger Rabbit. And Who Framed Roger Rabbit is just so beyond Space Jams. It came out so much earlier that I had to be like, yuck. I mean, I still enjoy the movie, but I was just like, like Bill Murray couldn't save the movie. Now, you know, things are bad. Bill Murray can't save it. It's just, like I said, y'all are gonna look at me funny for that. It's just how I feel. I watch it as an adult and I'm just like, oh boy.
You defended that well. You defended that well.
Yeah.
Because I was looking at you sideways just because, I mean, it's Space Jam, man.
As you should have.
Yeah.
All right, I got two more to go. I'm gonna make it quick. I'm not even gonna have to explain this. Breaking to Electric Boogaloo. Moving on. I don't really have to go into this, do I?
No.
Look, I was watching it. All I'm gonna say is this: I was watching it, and when they had that dance gang fight thing, I was just like, sweet Jesus. Somebody shoot everybody in this goddamn scene.
Oh, that's not the
I was really praying for an LA drive-by during that. Just spray everyone involved in this horrible idea that they had in the middle of this movie. But Breaking One, love it still. And finally, and you guys are gonna look at me like I'm the worst dude on the planet, but Rocky IV. Dude, this movie is the beginning of ridiculousness in Rocky. It is where the ridiculousness starts. And I cringe every time at the end of that movie when Rocky gives that half-wit, put-in-brain speech after he beats Drago. I'm just like, oh, shut this part-time retard up. Shut him up.
He had brain damage. Come on.
Thank you.
Exactly.
Thank you, show. Jesus.
And on top of that, they killed my man Apollo Creed. And I really don't like that these days. They killed my man Apollo Creed. But the whole thing is just like Rocky saves the whole United States fighting a Russian with two white guys fighting for the heavyweight belt in like 1989. Like, word, that happens?
The wall fell. The wall fell shortly after that. I don't know if you realize that or not. And if he can change, then you can change.
Exactly. Everybody can change. Yay! No. It's just a thumbs down. But I'll say this: Stallone redeemed himself thoroughly with those Creed movies. Well done. Way to bring it back. But yeah, Rocky IV. That, I said, it's not the worst of the Rocky. I just know I really liked it as a kid, and now I watch it now, I'm just like, ugh. The most entertaining thing about it is James Brown. That's all I'm saying.
You know, nobody does montages like Rocky. I don't care what anyone says.
Fair enough. The montage, he's the montage king.
Yeah.
The training.
Yeah, them and that Scarface pushing to the limit. Best montages of all time.
It's early to be saying that, yo. But
You name me one doper than push it to the limit.
that tiger, yo.
It's my tiger.
All right, time for the number 5. Who's that? You want to go?
Me?
Yeah.
Sure. While we're talking about Stallone, I'm gonna go ahead and give you my number 5. Shamefully, I may have found this movie somewhat inspirational as a kid, but now I look at it and I just feel stupid that I ever felt that way. Over the Top. I'm just gonna leave it. There. You can go on to the next person, man. We go next.
No further, just no further explanation needed.
None.
The movie about arm wrestling.
Yeah.
That his lip was part of it. He's okay.
Wait, the whole movie's about arm wrestling? I've never seen this movie. I gotta go check.
They made an entire movie about an arm wrestling truck driver trying to save his son or something ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he was arm wrestling to pay his child support or something crazy. It was just ridiculous.
Yeah, and it was like this whole underground movement.
Arm wrestling scene.
Yeah. I mean, the quote Clay Davis, man, it was shame bullshit. Sorry, I couldn't help it.
Jason, man, go ahead, give your 5.
All right, so my number 5 is a movie that I really enjoyed at the time, and I'll probably get some flack for it, but just let me explain. My number 5 is Desperado.
Ooh.
And the reason is because I feel like in the 90s, I feel like The Matrix like killed all those shoot 'em up movies to the point where like after seeing The Matrix and then you go back and look at something that came out a few years before, it just isn't the same. It wasn't the same for me. Like Desperado was like the coolest shit I'd ever seen at the time. But then watching it shortly after, it just didn't hit. It was like, yeah, it's a cool movie. I still enjoy it, but it just it didn't age. It didn't age well.
Selma
Hayek, Desperado?
Yeah. Selma Hayek.
No. Hayek. This can't be your 5. This is your 5?
Yeah, I mean, it's not about her particularly. I'm just looking at the movie in general, and I mean, it was as a shoot 'em up movie. Like, I'm not gonna propel the movie ahead because Selma Hayek was beautiful in it. I mean, that doesn't change that. But the movie as a whole, the shootouts, the action scenes, the jumping and all that, like it didn't age well. It's not bad. I still love it. But I'm just saying that aspect of it did not age well because so many movies that came out after it, particularly The Matrix, took that shoot 'em up style and took it to a whole other revolutionary level.
2 things. Number 1, if you're gonna go, then go. But if you're gonna stay, yeah, that's number 1. Number 2, Selma Hayek was walking down the street. I believe this in my soul. I don't have any background information, but this is just what I believe. Selma Hayek was so tough on that movie that there was a scene where a guy was looking at her and he got into a car accident, and I don't believe that was part of the script. That's all.
Oh, I remember that scene. You're probably right.
I don't think that was a part of the script at all. Because when I saw it, I would have wrecked the car. That Selma Hayek, I was like, yo, I didn't even know guy made stuff like that.
Yeah, Lord. She was so fine in that scene. As a tribute to her, while I was driving, I wrecked my car thinking about looking at her.
Pretending you were looking at her.
Okay.
I'll hit number 1.
Go ahead.
Yeah, because I hate this movie. So number 5. So if I told you that there was a movie about 2 guys, right, that married, had families or whatever like that, went off into a mountain, you know, to watch some sheep, decided to somehow, you know, hook up over a number of years, you know, that people would say that this movie was beloved and great and he'd go on to win awards. And one of those guys was going to become the Joker. You wouldn't believe it, right? So yeah, Brokeback Mountain is my number 5. I hated it then, I hate it now. I think that people were way too nice to this movie. I know where they were getting at in terms of certain folks struggle or what have you, and I got that, but I just didn't think that that movie highlighted that. I thought that Ang Lee did what he did with the Hulk. He destroyed it. And so he has this history of putting all this ominous music over things and this great scenery. And at the end of the day, it's just two guys going out to say, hey, you know what? We're living our best life on the low and we're going to put this out there. And the movie literally was about nothing else. And so it's just kind of like, I didn't take it for the love story it was supposed to be. I never got into those levels and depths of it. I just think it sucked. And, you know, it was somebody's, you know, wet dream of a movie. And they thought that, hey, this is great for the Academy. So there you go. Number 5, Brokeback Mountain. May your DVD player, Apple TV, whatever you use, Fire Stick, may it all be broken if you ever try to watch this movie. There it is.
Wow, that's a strong take.
Words.
Very strong.
I have no rebuttal because I've never seen it. I'm not interested in straight love stories. So
if Heath Ledger was alive to hear that review, he'd be rolling over in his grave. You understand what I'm saying? Anyway.
Yeah, preparing for Jake Gyllenhaal Part 2. There we go. No.
Well, you know, Jake Gyllenhaal could have been Neo from The Matrix.
He could have been. There'll be no Gyllenhaal slander. He's a great actor that makes
that ain't a rule, bro.
He's a great actor that makes bad choices.
Jake Gyllenhaal Matrix would have been number 1 on this list.
I guarantee you this: Jake Gyllenhaal's Matrix would have been the same level of success as the Keanu Reeves Matrix, as the Wesley Snipes Matrix, as any other actor that knows how to take a kick Matrix. You could have put Michael Jai White in there, same movie, same results. It doesn't matter. Carl Weathers could have done it. Anyone could have done it.
Hey, no Carl Weathers.
I love Carl Weathers. Don't you ever talk bad about Mr. Carl Weathers.
Man, I'm going next. Greg has to be on timeout for a second after some slanders. I'm going next. My number 5, the only thing, much like Jason's Desperado, there was a bright spot on there whose name goes by Sally Richardson. But Posse.
Oh boy.
I thought when I was a kid, I was like, yo, this is the joint. This is all right. Nah, it's not all right. It's not. Nothing about that. Nothing about it is okay.
That's a great. I actually tried to watch it not too long ago, and I didn't realize how comical it was. Back then, I thought it was like this serious movie.
Exactly.
There were so many jokes and just like silly moments in the movie. Yeah, you're on point with that one.
Yo, the part where I was like, all right, that's enough. Yo, my that's enough part was when Mario Van Peebles Pops was like, no justice, no peace. I was like, damn it, I can't. I was like, I got up, man. I got up. That was it. Posse. Man.
Posse's horrible, man.
That old Van Peebles magic strikes again.
You're number 5, Greg. Your number.
My number 5 is Revenge of the Nerds. It is just, the whole thing now is very uncomfortable. They had a whole moon bounce rape in this movie, and that was the good guy. Like, it was just.
The Darth Vader shit?
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's horrible.
And I'm thinking to myself, like, just based off that alone, it's just like, really? You thought that was your boyfriend? That 6'2" muscle-filled monster puts on a Darth Vader outfit and loses all his muscles and girth, and you're just gonna let this guy stroke out and then not be upset about it. That was amazing. Yeah. No, you got raped. You got raped, and nobody cared. They cheered him on. Way to go, nerd. Good job raping. Well done, raping, nerd. That's 1. And number 2.
Oh, man.
Look, man. Look. Correct me if I'm wrong. Have any of y'all ever seen, heard of, or met a flamboyantly gay black nerd? I've never seen this mythical creature of a flamboyant gay black nerd. No flamboyant gay black dudes is kicking it with Booger. That's not happening. Within a week, he would have been hanging out with all the black girls, braiding hair and stuff with everybody else, making fun of those nerds. He would have been part of the problem. Don't you dare stick him in that, lump him in that that he was hanging out with. That's not gonna happen.
Oh,
Not to mention, there was also a 12-year-old getting drunk, staring at fat girls' boobies throughout the movies. That's just, come on, really? Really, Wormser? That's what they're doing? And plus, the whole thing was just ridiculous. The real Revenge of the Nerds should have been them getting picked on in college and them laughing at those jocks when they sent job applications to them when they're trying to get hired later. That should have been the real Revenge of the Nerds. When Lewis and Gilbert are out here Bill Gatesing and Zuckerberging all over the place, telling these dudes that they stink and they can't get a loan. That should have been the real Revenge of the Nerds. There's no revenge in college.
There was 2 biscuit sandwiches during typing class.
Exactly. And on top of that, this is college. You telling me that there's not more than 6 nerds on a college campus? They should have had a whole community of nerds that they were kicking it with. Why would, what? It's just, the whole concept is whack. That's all I'm saying. So that's my problem with that movie. And I loved it as a kid. I look at it now, I'm just like, none of this makes sense. There's no flamboyant gay nerds. None. None of them. But go ahead.
Let's go in reverse order. Go ahead and give your number 4, Greg.
All right, my number 4, and it really should be higher, Face Off. The levels of garbage in this movie. And let me break this down. This is a movie where I didn't really dislike it or like it too much. I just was like, it's all right. And then I saw it again. And I was just like, who decided to do this with that horrible, shitty sci-fi movie title, Face Off, where it's a movie about someone's face actually coming off. It is just dumb. It's just all around dumb. And even the plot of it is ridiculous. They couldn't find 2 guys that was like comparable size. Like if you staple my face to TJ's body, you're not gonna be like, oh, Greg, where you look together. Ooh, is he sick? What happened? Ooh, you lost some weight. Ooh, you grew a little. Like you can't take Nicolas Cage and dump him on John Travolta's half chubby body and expect people not to notice. Like, it's just dumb. And the fact, like, the way he interacted with his girl and he takes his filthy fingers and rubs them across her face and she was like, oh, it's you. No, that's not how that would work. Like Jason, let's just say me and you changed up bodies, right? And then you go to my wife and we have a thing that we do, and then and I'm in your body and I rub her face. Do you think she's not calling the police immediately? Like, what is this
most
shit?
definitely.
Put it here. How did you get a key? And what are you doing to my face? And this, what is going on here? There was the jail with those horrible magnet boots that they had in the jail. I was, God, ugh.
And the other problem with that movie is that even at the time, there were other more efficient technologies that were introduced within film that would have been better. Like the whole point is they're doing a body switch movie, okay? But there are so many other ways that they could have done that. They could have like moved the brain, like, and you could have made that equally as it could have worked. But to literally just peel the face off and you're turning into a whole new person, yeah, that's bad. That's real bad.
Yeah, and then he's sitting there and they're working on him. He's sitting there smoking a cigarette with muscle face. Like, it's just, stop it. Just stop it.
You're right. I didn't even think about that movie.
Everything about it is just horrible.
Silly.
Just horrible. There's not one redeemable thing about it. And both the leads stink. Neither one of them had done anything good within 35 years when that movie was made. Oh, wait, correction.
Stop.
Travolta did Pulp Fiction, but he was not the reason people love Pulp Fiction.
He's part of it.
He was part of it.
The whole thing.
And
I
Nicolas
give everybody
Cage,
credit. Pulp Fiction is a classic.
it is. It's a brilliant movie. And Nicolas Cage, I had not cared about him since Raising Arizona. That's his period.
That was funny.
The whole movie.
Now, every time I see Nicolas Cage, to me, they're all comedies. They're all Raising Arizona. Everything I look at when he's in it, I laugh. I laugh because of the level of shittiness that this guy puts in everything. All of it is disturbingly whack.
Yo, this is the greatest review ever.
A whole meme, like on Reddit, Nicolas Cage is like a whole cultural meme for like just being terrible.
Yeah.
Online.
Oh man.
He lives up to it.
He certainly does. Oh, he's just, ugh. He is, you know what he is? He is the upscale version of Christopher Lambert. He is, like, if Christopher Lambert is E&J, then Nicolas Cage is Hennessy. He's just a better.
Yeah.
I'm going.
But go ahead.
I'm going. That was mind blowing. My number 4 is Beastmaster.
I don't think I've seen that movie since the 80s.
You don't need to. Let me tell you, man. First off, look, anytime that you got the father from Good Times dressed up like a medieval stripper, it's gonna be a bad script.
And
that's all I'm saying.
Our show's over. Thank you, Greg. I'd like to thank everybody for coming out. Golly, man. It's true. Everything you said was true and more.
I'm sorry, go ahead with your...
No, man, I'm actually, you saved me a bunch of time. I don't need to explain that any further than saying Beastmaster. James was in weird clothes at a weird time, and a pet ferret was the thing. So we're going.
This thing had on a fox thong.
Good Lord. Antoine, you're go.
Yeah, so my number 4 is Halle Berry, and it's in Catwoman. Catwoman was fucking terrible, let me tell you. The costumes are terrible. The main villain with Sharon Stone was terrible. But what makes this film all-time bad is the basketball scene. So first of all, from a film perspective, they did like 2,000 cuts in less than like a minute. All right, number 2, Halle Berry nor Benjamin Bratt look like they ever touched a basketball in their life, even though she takes the ball from the kid like I used to do this all the time. Number 3, there's kids out there cheering them on, right? There's no basketball game going on. She's literally backing them down. She gives the worst twerk that I've ever seen in my life. They're like sexually flirting with one another. The kids are still in the background like, yeah. And then it's like, she does this worse, even for its time. And I think this is like 2004 or 5 or something, so they should have known better. The worst special effects dunk ever. The person never touched the rim. She's Catwoman. She would have gotten all over the rim, right? The person did like one of the Dwight Howard dunks where he just like slams it through. She ends up on top of him straddled, and then she's like looking at him, he's looking at her, and then the kids are like, yeah. Then one kid finally brings sense to it all. It's like, yo, can we get our ball back? She throws the ball at him and then just stares back at him. I'm like, what's going on? What was this movie supposed to be?
Yo.
And it took me seeing Anne Hathaway to play Catwoman to realize he could play well outside of the 40s. So look, Halle Berry, she struck out badly with that. The movie was terrible. It sucked all the way around. And I absolutely recommend that you go on to YouTube right now if you watch and watch the basketball scene and see how horrible that is.
I'm saying though, Antoine, that might be your fault, bro, because that movie was corny when it came out.
Yeah,
that movie, like aging isn't the issue. That movie was beyond corny when it came out.
Yeah.
Like I think it stayed bad.
It got worse. I was like, what?
That might be
I
what you,
really
bro.
seeing this.
Your expectations were out of this world when you watched.
It was. I was like, Catwoman, how can they mess this up? Where was I wrong?
Catwoman is the Zag Nutter film.
That shit is the Charleston Chew of cinema. It's just horrible. That joint is the Mounds Bars of movies. It is just horrible. Yeah, that's horrible. I hear what you're saying, and that belongs on a list, but I don't think it belongs on this list because there's no way at any point that you ever like this movie at all. And if you did like the Highlander, so there is a small.
Go ahead, man.
You're gonna find a way to insert the Highlander. There we are. I got it.
TJ, go ahead, man. TJ.
It was strangely enough, right before we started, I moved this movie down to number 4, and it turns out we have it in the same place.
Whoa.
I had the Beastmaster as well. I saw it when I was a kid. I thought it was like an action movie, but now I don't know what it is. Like, I don't know. Like, have you watched any of it recently? I don't know what it's just, in a word, poor. It's just poor. So whoever's next.
Jason,
I told you what it is. It is old school Magic Mike. It's just niggas in strippers' clothes. They got niggas out there dressed like stars. Throwing swords around. It is just horrible. Like, whenever Mink Draws enters a film and it's dudes, it's just like, I'm done here. No one wants to see that.
You know what it kind of reminds me of? You guys saw the cartoon Thundercats movie, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
When I was a kid, I thought there was all this, fighting and stuff. When you go back and watch it as an adult, there's really not that much fighting. There's no real touching. It's a lot of magic type stuff, and it's just different. It's different than I remembered it when I was a kid.
There's a lot of conversations about a fight about to happen.
Yeah, exactly. And this movie was, that like on steroids, man. Just
not only that, TJ, but James Amos had the same exact tone as he had in that apartment.
Just combine his character and his real name into one.
Yeah, he called. He actually called the Beastmaster Florida like 3 times.
I called him James Amos. I'm sorry. James Amos. Yo, I'm gonna call him that anyway. Yo, James Amos McDowell. James Amos McDowell. He's out there like, we need a real sword out there. Really cut him. We're gonna really cut him.
Oh boy.
Outside of what is known as a stellar career, that was just like I feel like James was like, I need a new car. Put me in Beastmaster. Get this check real quick. Get this Benz and roll out.
Jason, man, you're number 4.
My number 4 is American Beauty, and it's because of Kevin Spacey. It was a really good movie. It was creepy, but the whole premise. But if you remember the movie, it didn't turn out as creepy as it was supposed to be. But then just looking at him, knowing what we know about him, and then the fact that he's like lusting after this teenage girl, it was too real. It was too real. You couldn't separate the man from the character with that movie because it was too real.
I love that movie, man.
It was excellent, but it's not the same. It doesn't. You can't really appreciate it knowing what you know.
It's hard to watch now, huh?
Yeah, it's like it's cringeworthy to watch. Like, it's bad.
It is. It does have a different vibe. It's like driving around and listening to Step in the Name of Love now. It's just like, should I be doing this?
Right.
I mean, I love this song, but should I? I can't drive playing Bump and Grind. Like, I can't do it. It's not gonna go well for me.
It's too real. It's too real.
Yeah, that's something you got to keep close. You can't be out in public and enjoy that kind of stuff. But the movie still, like I said, I didn't put it on my list because the movie is still really dope. Like I said, I have to separate. I can separate the actual Kevin Spacey from doing the movie. It just, I can't cross that mental plane. Like I'm mad at Kevin Spacey, not the dude.
But that's what I'm saying.
Beauty.
But that's what I'm saying. I could possibly do that watching Usual Suspects, but American Beauty, it's like knowing what we know about him, it's too close to real life. So it's like it's really him. That's the thing. The character is too close to the real life creep that it's just too real.
So you're saying he took method acting too far? Never broke out of that character.
That is not what he said.
I didn't say that, but I just know, knowing what we know, and then you watch that movie, it's like, ooh, damn, like yeah.
Somewhat creepy. I must admit. I understand your point.
Yeah. Number 3, Antoine.
So my number 3 is American Beauty. So American Beauty. It is the 12th play of movies there. There you go. You'll never see it the same. You go back, you look at it, Kevin Spacey in this movie and his wife, right, having problems. He's like through a midlife crisis and he's lusting after his daughter's friend. You know, she's like 16 or something like that. And so he's like a full 40-something-year-old grown man and he's just like having these fantasies about her and all of that. And then, of course, again, I won't go long into it because Jason summed it up well. Kevin Spacey's real life activities kind of, parallel with it. And so when you watch this movie won 5 Academy Awards. It was like, oh, it's so great. Look at the beauty of the rose and all this stuff. And it's like, nah, he got what he deserved at the end of the movie. His wife blew his brains out. The girl was scared. She didn't want to go through with it. So what you gonna say?
It was not his wife. Go watch the movie again if you can get through the cringe-worthy Kevin Spacey. Go watch it again. It was not his wife.
Yeah, it wasn't.
But yeah, so that part right there, and so it just was. It was wild. I thought it was his wife. That wasn't.
But you just just reminded me the even what makes it even more fucked up to watch that movie now is the shit that he was accused of doing, which got him killed, is even more aligned with the shit he was doing in real life. So it's like double creepy. Holy shit. Damn, that movie. It's wild, man.
You know what's even wilder? I'm pretty sure the mom that wrote this movie was like, you know who would be perfect for this? Kevin Spacey. We don't even have to give him a just be yourself, pal.
That brings up a really messed up point. It's like if people knew back then how he was wilding out, and that's why they put him in the movie, like you said, like
possibly.
That's sinister. I hope not.
Yeah,
somebody creepy and rapey. Get me Sabian.
He was like, say that role for me. What's worse than that though about the movie, Jason, is the fact that we focus on Kevin Spacey being kind of like the predatory person in that movie, but his wife was a scumbag too. Remember wasn't his wife having like the affair with like the rival or something like that?
Oh yeah, she was.
Yeah. It was a whole.
But I mean, he had an inappropriate relationship with 2 teenagers. So I mean, compared to the wife, it's not like what she was doing was nothing compared to him. Inappropriate relationship with teenagers.
Okay, and let's not
Kelly would make the difference.
And it's his daughter's friend and his daughter's boyfriend. He had inappropriate relationships. That made him a triple dirtbag.
Yo,
it's true.
So he deserved it by cheating on him.
Wait a minute. Kevin Spacey went 100%. He went full Jada Pinkett in this role. Is that what you're telling me? He went full Jada.
Instead of red table, it was red roses. He was ready.
Oh, what?
Wow.
Oh, I'm gonna put an end to this. Cross the line. You understand? Greg, it's your 3.
Oh, number 3?
Yeah.
Okay. Look, I still haven't. You know what? I'm gonna switch up the order a little bit because I think the other 2 are more egregious. So I'm gonna go ahead and say number 3 is Teen Wolf. Now look, I'm thoroughly disappointed in Hollywood You mean to tell me that in all of Hollywood, you couldn't find 5 white boys that could actually play basketball? Like not like 5? You couldn't find 5 in all of Hollywood that could actually dribble without looking down. Is that what you're telling me? That's just the beginning of it. I can only go right. Michael J. Fox is leading a team to the state championships. Get out. Okay, they could have put Shaq on that team and they still would have placed 3rd. There was just a horrible bunch of, really, the doofy fat kid Francis from Pee Wee's Playhouse. He's killing it in the paint. He's the dude. The guy that can't tie his shoes without breathing heavy. Get out of here. All right, number 2. Just the premise of the movie is just kind of ridiculous. When you look at it with for a movie, yeah, but when you look at it realistic, guys, this dude just turns into a werewolf in the middle of a game and nobody's calling the scientists. Like this dude is not stretched out on a table somewhere being checked out by the government, nothing. Just let him keep on playing, no problem. No problem here. Not to mention the bestiality sex that happened when he's out here sleeping with cheerleaders, putting his human-sized red chapstick dick inside of people, hunching doggy style. That's this,
Cole, there was a sex scene in Teen Wolf?
There was an implied
He was a wolf?
sex scene. Yes, wow. He had to wolf out to get it in. I guess hair is the new Viagra of some sort, because she would not sleep with midget J. Fox. She would only sleep with the wolf.
I always thought it was let the monkey out.
And here's the part, like I said, the end where he's just like, you know what? I'm deciding not to be a werewolf for this game. For one, I didn't know it was a choice. That's one. 2, you're telling me that group of losers, where no one can play ball at all, won the state championships without one black face on their team and having no skill set whatsoever for basketball. They still won without the wolf. Without the wolf, their record was 0-412. They had not won a game since segregation was popular in that town. They were just losers, and it's just a terrible, horrible script that just shouldn't be. The concept is funny and dope and cool. The execution of it was just horrible. Like I said, you couldn't find Michael Rappaport back then. Just somebody, Woody Harrelson. No one that knows how to actually play basketball. No one. It's upsetting. That's all I'm saying.
Funny, Teen Wolf turned into like 2 franchises because they made a cartoon and they made like a teen drama based on it, and I think a couple other movies.
Yeah, they did.
Jason Bateman was in Teen Wolf too.
Thank God.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Because like I said, that is the only slight against Jason Bateman on an otherwise stellar career.
I'm gonna go ahead and give my 3 because unfortunately my 3 is Teen Wolf. I'm gonna focus on the aspect of how racist the movie was.
Fair enough.
When they turned,
I didn't even get to that.
When he turned into a wolf, he just became black pretty much. It was implied in everything that he did. Hence the sex scene with him being a wolf, not Michael J. Fox. I digress. Go ahead and give your 3.
Me?
TJ.
Oh, me. Sorry. My number 3 is American Ninja. I don't know if you guys have seen this movie or not, but as a kid, I thought it was pretty great. Not no more. It had it had all the stereotypical stuff. It had the old Asian splinter like dude to this American trained guy. He was a soldier, and the plot was even crazy. I just remember there being some kind of, maybe it was a guerrilla faction or something, was trying to steal some American armaments. I don't know what it was, and he was up against them. they got machine guns, and I mean they're shooting so much that there's like no plant life left, and this guy's taking them out with swords. It was just did not age well. Really poor attempt at an action flick. It was so bad that none of those actors, I don't think any of them have done anything since then. It's here for a reason. Number 3.
Yeesh.
Listen, man, you got this last 3.
My number 3 is well, hold on. I got my order mixed up. Oh yeah, I hate to do it, but the first X-Men movie,
Man.
and basically that whole first trilogy, and really just after, like, those movies were really cool when they first came out, and X-Men is like what got me reading comic books. X-Men and Batman were like my first exposure to comic books. But seeing those movies now after experiencing like the Dark Knight trilogy and the MCU, it's just like they're just really cheesy. And it's like, it feels like maybe they were trying too hard, but this is just compared to the other stuff, which is crazy because like one of y'all was saying earlier, like with the Superman, the Christopher Reeve Superman, I don't have that feeling about the Christopher Reeve Superman because it was old. It was in like the 70s and 80s, and they had the one with Richard Pryor and the Gene Hackman. Like, it was just a cool movie. But with the X-Men franchise, it was like such a big deal when it came out, and it just got eclipsed shortly afterwards by these legendary comic book movie franchises. It's just not you can't enjoy it. I can't enjoy it the same way now that I did back then.
Fair enough. I can agree with that. I would say with those X-Men movies, because I was never really into them, but I don't really dislike them. But I think if you're gonna have a movie where your expectations of what it was supposed to be were just really high, and it turned out to be like meh. You know what I'm saying? Now, if we have a list of movies for that, then I already got my number 1 for that, and that is the Marky Mark Planet of the Apes. That joint looked like it was gonna be the truth, and that shit turned out to be a lie. It was just horrible. But I understand the point that you're making about that X-Men joint. You expected more. You know what I'm saying? And I hate to do the Halle Berry slander, but I don't think she wasn't a good Storm. She's just not good as a hero.
Yeah.
For comic book stuff. She just doesn't work out for it. She's better with other things. She does a great job. You know what I'm saying? She's just not good for comic book movies.
Yeah, and I mean, it made sense. Like I said, when it came out, it was cool. Like, you know, like it was cool when it came out. But like you said, like her acting was not. It was kind of forgettable.
It wasn't really even the acting. She just didn't look the part.
No. Way better people they could have cast for that.
But I wasn't mad at it though. That's what I'm saying. Like, I loved this movie when it came out. I wasn't mad at that. You're right, but I wasn't mad at that. But it's like after this other batch of comic book movies.
Oh yeah, they took it to
in the last 10 years or so. Like, it's just so bad. It's just like blah now compared to
it just doesn't hold weight. That's fair. That's fair. I feel you on that.
I liked X-Men 2 a lot. X-Men 1 was a good, I thought, setup movie, but X-Men 3, trash.
I don't even remember X-Men 3.
Yo, it's trash. So Jason, are you saying the whole series or just X-Men 1?
Well, I started with X-Men 1, but I mean, you can basically say the whole trilogy because it was like within a few years when they all came out.
This is the second series you killed today.
I'm saying it just didn't hold up. It was great at the time, but it's like, you know, it doesn't hold up.
That brings us to our advertiser segment, where we're advertised, we advertise on the behalf of Soul Glow. You know what I'm saying? Keep your waves nice and tight, like mine. Lights shining on. Waves, no waves. Anyway, so Soul Glow, oh so silky smooth. So as far as some things, some places that you would like to advertise for, shout out to Black Advancement always, of course, but I would like to highlight a podcast that I just had the opportunity to do. These dudes are special. The podcast is the best in America. I said it. Where's Buffy podcast? If you haven't heard it yet, jerks, you should go listen to it. It's fantastic. Not to mention, it's got your boy on. So that's all. That's all from me. Greg, what's your advertisement for today?
Oh man, my advertisement for today is Black Empowered. They got a t-shirt company. These joints are fresh. This is where I got this joint from right here. I love these shirts. And go ahead and support them. Look out for them. Look out for them and look out for Odd Ninja. Also very fresh.
I've never heard of Odd Ninja. It's weird. I don't understand.
Well, allow me to shout out my advertising. Odd Ninja, the hat. Odd Ninja Media, merch, dope comic books, dope artwork.
Is that shirt too?
Shirt, yes. This is nice. Cyrus from Jericho Cutter, our premier comic book series. Cyrus is the villain, badass villain. Yeah, we got all types of stuff. Check us out.
Wait, this is you? This is you?
What?
Odd Ninja.
Oh yes. Yeah.
Oh yeah, let me know. I want to go to the website. Yeah.
Odd Ninja. Sorry, yeah. Oddninja.media. Yeah, check it out.
I'm sorry, everything went down. What was the website again?
Oddninja.media. Or you can go to Odd Ninja on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, at Odd Ninja Media.
What you say there, Chuck? I'm just playing. Antoine, go ahead. What you promoting today?
So today, because I love to eat and I love food, and I realize I never shout out food on here. I'm always doing clothes or something like that. If you're ever in Brooklyn, down on Flatbush Avenue, Good Hope, some of the greatest Caribbean food you ever taste is outside of the Caribbean. Oxtails, you name it, they got it. Lines are out the door. Don't matter what the weather is, so get down there, try it. You won't be disappointed.
This is
Good Hope.
This is super base, but do they have Jamaican beef patties and cocoa bread with it?
They do.
I'll need that address.
Like you've never had.
I'll need that address immediately. TJ.
Yeah, speaking of weather, it's starting to get nice outside, so I'm taking it back here. Starting to get that craving for some smoothies, tropical smoothie, black-owned business. They got not just smoothies, they got food too. So you get a chance, check them out. Good stuff.
Indeed, and that closes out our Soul Goal section. So we're gonna go on to number 2. Really close here. Who would like to just jump in on this one? Anybody?
I'll shout out my number 2 real quick.
All right.
Oh yeah.
It's that movie Virtuosity with Denzel Washington.
Wow, that's a great pick.
I really enjoy that movie, but the technology in that movie was like outdated like 3 years after the movie came out. It's just like, yeah, it's a cool movie, but it's just like, come on now. Virtual reality and like it, when you had to wear the headset, like it was only cool for like a couple years. And then it just went away completely. And then now it came back recently with like the Oculus Rift and all that modern technology. But it came out and died for like almost 20 years. Nobody cared about it. But yeah, the technology that whole movie is based on is just so like antiquated now. It's not even, yeah.
That is literally the worst Denzel Washington movie. In my opinion. Literally.
Yeah, you did pick out the one.
That's literally the one.
I'll say this. Denzel Washington has never made a bad movie, but that's the closest thing that he's made to a bad movie. Like I said, I'll say it's not a good movie, but it's not trash. I'll say that is the closest thing that I've seen Denzel Washington do where I was just like, I don't know.
Ironically,
Denzel.
that's the first time him and Russell Crowe worked together. I mean, that was the first time him and Russell Crowe worked together.
I know they redeemed themselves quite well with American Gangster. Yeah.
Indeed.
Antoine, you said you was about to go, so I'll let you go for number 2.
Yeah, I keep it simple, keeping in line with technology. Her with Joaquin Phoenix and Scarlett Johansson. I feel that I loved it at the time because the storyline was terrible, but I love technology so much, and the personal assistant, of course, has never aged well. Siri still is not on that level of talking to you like a conversation. Google also assistant is the same, and in that movie, it was just like Scarlett Johansson and also I think the neighbor or whatever. They both fell in love with the AI assistant. And so like the assistant was part of their day-to-day lives and, could talk to them through problems and all this other stuff. And it got you excited for a future that we have yet to still see in technology with that. So, yep, that was my number 2.
All right. That's a good pick, man. TJ, what's your number 2?
My number 2 is Tango&Cash. Used to like that movie a lot, but now, I go back and look at it, man. Within like 10 or 15 minutes, my interest has gone completely tits up. It's just too overly done. It's like to use, I guess the title of a movie that was my number 5 is just over the top, right? It's just too much. They never waste a bullet. I don't know. I can't do it these days. When I was a kid, yeah, I just can't do it.
Yo, Sly has been named quite a bit, yo.
Yeah, I've been trying to keep track, but Stallone, Dolph Lundgren, Halle Berry, I think are like the most mentioned so far.
And James Amos. And promotions, you know what I mean? So I'll go with my number 2, and then I'm gonna let Greg finish it off. So this movie, man, it really did hurt my soul. This was probably the most memorable example where I felt like a movie was, if you asked me at a certain age, Aji, what is your favorite movie?
Oh, damn, I know what this is. We got the same joint, I think. Go
For
ahead.
a year, it was Cyborg. With Jean Van Damme.
We don't.
I thought that this movie was the shit. I thought the villain was huge and was real tough, and the concept of the movie was this and that. I put that joint on during the pandemic. Woo, boy. Boy, did that suck. The premise was bad. The kung fu was horrible. The guy's eyes were strange. He had a ponytail. You can't beat that tough of a villain with a ponytail. Or perhaps it works the opposite, where it's like you super tough because you can rock a ponytail. It was racially ambiguous. It doesn't matter. The point is that the movie was just not good at all. And it hurt my soul to ever say that Cyborg was at one point the top of my list. And you can take that from the streets where I come from, sucker. Now, Greg, it's your go.
You said what?
Your go. What's your number?
Oh, okay. Well, man, my number 2 is Billy Madison. Let me tell you something right now. You can look at me funny, but when I break this down and I watch it in grown man eyes, I've never seen such a remarkable display of white privilege in a movie in my entire life. I've never seen it. Was, in fact, it rang so true that it hurt my soul to watch this. First off, I'm just gonna get this out the way. This nigga had a mammy in the movie for one. That's just starting off. You can put lotion on my elbows, Billy. No, let's just stop that right there, black lady. Number 2, he got a chance to run a multi-million-dollar corporation and all he had to do was graduate high school. And he was a dope, drunk, goofy, couldn't spell rock moron. But he was a rich white kid, which means he's gonna be all right. And I was just like, yo. And in light of that, just watching all these celebrities pay for their kids to get into school, and I was like, yo, Billy Madison might actually be a goddamn documentary. This might be a real life story. I was like, I've never seen white privilege displayed so blatantly in my life. He was a complete loser, a moron, and he was gonna be the head of a Fortune 500 company based off of graduating high school that he didn't graduate the first time, and got a chance and got a redo to go through elementary school all the way to graduating. That, my friend, is the richest, whitest thing that I've ever seen in a movie in my entire life. And now I watch it and I can't enjoy it because of the level of white privilege that I saw in this movie. It sickens me. Done, sir.
That was a tour de force example.
But it was very entertaining when I was a child. But yeah, I mean, if y'all got anything to add, please do. Maybe I've missed something. Maybe I'm being a little too harsh.
I mean, that's a great way to look at it. I didn't really take it that seriously, but when you really step back, I mean, that is what it's about. But
well, yeah, you're not supposed to be taken seriously, but my grown-up eyes looked at it and was like, oh my God, this is like, you'll never see a nigga named Tyreek doing this. Like, it's not gonna happen. Like, there is no Tyreek go back to school and take over BET movies. It's not happening. It's not gonna happen.
I mean,
Jason.
I was gonna say Trading Places with Ray Valentine.
No, that was a loan and a bet.
I do have one thing to say, Greg, to add to your critique.
Go ahead.
I could just go ahead. That Veronica Vaughn.
That
was the ill. That's still ill. Right?
And that's why it hurts me, because the movie is still funny. It's a funny movie. But when you watch it as a black dude grown up and you realize what's going on, you're just like, you're disgusted and you're hurt, and you realize this is not an idea out the blue. This has probably happened more times than I've actually seen this movie.
You're right about that, but I'm gonna do this to you, Greg.
Do it too.
Apologize in advance.
Go ahead, get it.
You can separate Kevin Spacey the creep from Kevin Spacey Kaiser Sose. You can separate all of the cultural and social aspects of Billy Madison and just enjoy how hilarious that movie is. It's exercising the same muscle.
It is, you're right. But what I'm doing is I'm separating an actual person's real life from their character. I don't think that Adam Sandler had it this way in real life. So I have no reason to be upset with Adam Sandler. And I'm not saying it's not funny. What I'm saying is what I see now, it's different. And that's all I'm saying. It is a different perspective that I never had until I was grown. And I was just like, oh, I was like, this is on par with Get Out, the level of whiteness that is going on in here. This is, the level of whiteness going on right now is ridiculous. That's all I'm saying.
All right, we've reached that time, folks. You know what we do in this position. It's the number ones, man. When you say it, no one else will speak. They'll let you have the floor. Who wants to go first? All volunteers.
I can get mine out the way because mine's gonna be quick. I'm not even gonna say a whole lot on this. I'm usually pretty long-winded, but I'm just gonna break this down real quick and fast. My number one movie is The Toy with Richard Pryor. All I'm gonna say is they purchased a whole nigga in 1980. Done.
And that's our show. Thank you all for watching. Okay. I'll go.
Forgot about that one.
Oh, go ahead,
Yeah, I'll go because I got overlap. That's my number one too.
Oh my God.
I mean, in the wake of all that's happened, since last year with George Floyd and all that. I mean, can you imagine releasing that movie nowadays? No way. No how. No way, no how, man. Just couldn't happen. So yeah, I'll leave it there too. I'll keep it short too.
I'll jump in after that.
All that nigga in a toy store.
He did. He did.
Go ahead.
So my number one is actually Driving Miss Daisy. I hate it, and so
What happened? What's going on?
as a grown adult watching Morgan Freeman have to drive this nagging ass lady around, and she doesn't realize all the things happening to her. Synagogue gets bombed, and then seeing how the movie ends, and she's like, really old and probably gonna die, and he has to go feed her pie and shit. It was just like the most appalling thing to ever watch ever. And it's like, if I go any further than that, you'll probably have to end your show. So I'm just gonna tell you, Driving Miss Daisy, trash, super trash. Didn't realize how trash it was when I was a kid. Yeah, I'll leave it at that. Love Jessica Tandy though, but yeah.
Family show. Don't do it. Wow. Go ahead, Jason. Were you about to go?
Yeah, I'll go. And y'all are gonna have to bear with me because I'm not claiming this movie is great, but I thoroughly enjoyed it as when I was very, very young because it was so absurd. It was entertaining, and now I can't even turn it on to watch it. But it's Leonard Part 6. And I don't even think I need to explain why.
Nope.
Like I can't even pretend to watch this movie at this.
Nope. Hey, you know what, man? That's the show.
You get number one. Yeah.
We don't need to go. I don't even. Leonard
The
6.
thing that I find most appalling about this is that you like the Leonard 6 at all.
It was so ridiculous. I mean, it was so ridiculous that I mean, this came out the same time, like close to like the Masters of the Universe and some other movies on this list. Like it was a very absurd time, and it was just so ridiculous that I enjoyed it. But yeah, you can't watch it. We're way too many problematic scenes and triggering elements.
Here's the thing about Leonard 6 for me. As a child, I absolutely hated it. As an adult, it is one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my life for all the wrong reasons.
Because it's so out
all
of
the wrong reasons. It is just so, it is hilarious for all the horrible, crass, upsetting, bad script, poor acting, vegetarian bashing things I've seen. It is just hilarious now to me as an adult. That one is almost a flip for me.
Yeah, but see, I would agree with that.
I'm watching it and I'm laughing.
Yeah, but the visuals behind the vegetarian thing and
Well, you don't want to see
an
Bill
event.
Cosby throw wieners at people?
It is. I was trying not to say it, but yeah, like the visuals of that. It's just not even funny. It's really messed up.
It is hilarious.
You can't even.
Hilarious.
Nah, it just doesn't.
It's so uncomfortable.
Worthy at this point. Like
It's so uncomfortable. Oh my God. Good.
Stay tuned for part 7 when Bill Cosby's a barista.
Hey, let me just. So can I ask a question? I don't remember this. When he threw the hot dogs at him, were they asleep or were they awake?
They seem with.
I'm gone. I'm
They
gone.
fell asleep.
I'm gone.
Out here throwing pizza dogs.
Yo, Jason, man, that's messed up, man. You should have let me go first. Yo, you're gonna drop something like that. You should have let me go. You should have came up mopped up after that.
Well, go. I mean, the toy is hard to beat.
That's what she said. Look, okay, now, all right, I'll go ahead, man. I'll just go ahead. This is so underwhelming after that. I mean, there's a lot. All of them have been really good. That's why I was like, the toy, Leonard 6, and Driving Miss Daisy. I mean, Jesus. Okay, Cobra.
I'm sorry.
Cobra.
Yo, son, that's a good pick.
That's it.
That's a good pick. because we all loved that as a kid. You know what? I forgot all about it. Cobra.
Cobra.
Go ahead. I'm not gonna go ahead. Let's go.
Stallone is on like Stallone is like the king of this list.
Yo, dude, thank you.
That's crazy.
Yo, Stallone was mentioned like at minimum 6 times.
Yeah.
Yo, that brings me to a conclusion. There's 3 things you can always take away from this show. Number 1, Rocky is the reason why we beat the Russians. Number 2, if you can't beat the Russians, you could always throw hot dogs at them. And number 3, if ever you come across all-white basketball team that's in the state finals, watch out. They might be eating people after it's all over. Even if they are, there's always work at the post office.